Hello everyone, welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now this video is about the Saturn transit. Saturn is going progressive on 15th of November in the sign of Aquarius, and it is going to stay in the sign of Aquarius till 29th of March 2025. So previously Saturn went retrograde. Now it is going to go progress and or direct in the sign of Aquarius. Now there's a simple clarification to this situation. When a planet goes retrograde, what it does is it talks about or it makes you fulfill the pending karma of the previous house or the previous sign. It's like that this Saturn has passed the sign of Capricorn, but some of the karma related to that house and that sign was still left. So when it went retrograde, it said that now your focus should go towards the previous house so as to fulfill what will come next regarding the existing house or the existing sign, which is the sign of Aquarius. So now, since we are done with all the past situations or all the karma which was left for the sign of Capricorn, now this Saturn is going to move forward in the sign of Aquarius. It is going to make you pay off the debts or the karma related to Saturn's position in the sign of Aquarius. And then it is going to move forward towards the sign of Pisces. Okay, so it's like it's the ultimate destiny or it's the ultimate time where the karma associated with the sign of Aquarius has to be dealt with. Okay, so now before diving into predictions for all the ascendants or all the zodiac signs, we need to understand what is Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. So, Saturn is the planet of karma. It is the planet of discipline, organization, hard work. It is the planet of misery as well. It is a very slow moving planet. So, whenever it gives something, it is going to give it very slowly. But this is also a planet of stability. Whenever it gives something, it is going to give you with the utmost foundation. It might give you late, but it is going to give you a stable and progressive growth over a period of time. Saturn talks about focus, determination, and Saturn also is about service. Its main agenda is about service. It's about public, right? So this Saturn coming into the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the natural 11th house. Aquarius is the sign, the Mool Trikon sign of Saturn. And it has co-rulership of Saturn and Rahu altogether. So Aquarius is a sign, it is considered as a karmic sign because there is co-rulership of the planet of Rahu. That's why this particular sign has some karma attached to it. So you would see, since this is also one of the trick houses, any planet that goes in the sign of Aquarius, that is going to grow with time. The Aquarius is the sign of desires. It is the sign of large population, recognition, fulfillment of your desires, fulfillment of your recognition. It is also what you are going to get from your karma because it's second from the 10th house. It is the sign of a water bearer. It is a sign which is associated with philanthropy and humanitarian activities. And indeed, this is a very secretive and very introvert sign. The people, if you'll see people with Aquarius prominency, you would know that these people are extremely introvert. Their childhood always have been into a lot of introversion, and these people find their confidence throughout their life. They find their confidence in the later part of their life. So most of the time you would see these are those individuals who will even if they have to speak in front of two people, or they have to speak something as a part of, giving it a speech, they're going to have shivers. They're going to, experience that bitters within their body. Okay, that's how shy they are, that's how introvert they are. And you will always see, for the people who have placements in the sign of Aquarius, like Mercury in Aquarius, Moon in Aquarius, these people find it very hard to express. And they are the people who are going to bear a lot of things, a lot of emotions within them. And these are the people who may not even speak in front of their family. They would not put up an opinion. But you would see, the moment they go into that transformative phase, which definitely they do go, but the ages would be different for different individuals. But when they go into that transformative stage, they start confronting, they start coming out of their cocoon, and they start confronting people with their emotions, with what they have suffered. That's what the water bearer situation of Aquarius does. Now when Saturn comes into the sign of Aquarius, first of all, this is a very, very technical and innovative placement. This Saturn is going to teach us how to be into philanthropy, how to think about people at large, how to be at service for public, for people at large, how to do, charity work. And this charity work, or this help, is going to be done in terms of innovations, because this sign is associated with technical innovations, right? And this sign also teaches a person, when Saturn comes into the sign of Aquarius, this teaches a person patience, patience in their life, patience to achieve their goals, patience to be recognized. This placement, since it is the 11th house, just assume that Saturn is in the 11th house. It's like that you have a lot of desires, but this Saturn is going to teach you how to be very practical towards your goals and desires, how to be determined towards your goals and desires, so that you can achieve them. You may achieve them with delay because of the natural nature of Saturn, but you will definitely achieve them. Now, another thing is that Saturn naturally rules the sign of Capricorn and the sign of Aquarius. So, technically, Saturn is going second from its position, from its, house of karma, house of service, house of action. So that means that your actions are going to get recognized on a larger level. Suppose if you are a person who is an artist, if you are a musician, if you are a person who is an astrologer, maybe if you are a doctor, so any so field or any talent that you have, that is going to get recognized. This placement is good for career, it is good for one's growth in the career, but it is more of that it this placement will develop a stable foundation for your career, which might not feel that you're getting the results at the moment, but this will trigger the process of you achieving those results or those recognition in the coming future. Okay, so on a whole, if I summarize this particular transit into one line, so this transit is all about technical innovations on a mundane level. This is about recognizing or prioritizing, or like shuffling between what your priorities should be in terms of your desires. And you know what? Since it is Saturn, Saturn gives you a very practical approach towards everything. Saturn makes you understand that, it makes you go out of your la la land. It is like it strikes you with that reality of life. So you are, if you are a person who must have been in their la la land, or who must have been into their imagination, or it will be like, I can do that, I can do this, or I can achieve that, I can achieve this. Now you would develop a very practical mindset to what you should desire, what is actually feasible for you, right? So that's how this Saturn in the sign of Aquarius is going to work. Now let's dive into the predictions for all the zodiac signs. Now, this is the Muhurata chart for Saturn going direct in the sign of Aquarius. And it is going direct in the nakshatra of Satabhashak. Satabhashak is a nakshatra related to healing. It is related to actually the typical side of Rahu, which is ether, right? So, when Saturn comes into the sign of Aquarius, and especially into the nakshatra of Satabhashak, it talks about secrecy. It talks about actions that are taken in secrecy. This also talks about a person, if we talk about it in on an individual level, this talks about a person being very hideous and also being very practical with their approach. Suppose many times I have gotten, like recently, because of Saturn's position in the sign of Aquarius, I've gotten Saturn in Satabhashak in a lot of prashnas. So whenever I get that, I know that the other person, or there is something hideous that is happening within the situation. So I always point that out, that there is a situation which is quite up in the air and which is hidden. You do not know the clear agenda of the other individual. And because of that, there are things which are beneath, and a person is considering a very very practical approach. Like mostly if I get that in love related matters, relationship related matters, then I do know that they are considering other options. Okay, because this is a placement where a person wants to fulfill their desires at any cost. They would use hard work, and they would also use smart work, or you can say shortcuts, to get those things done, right? So this is the Muhurata chart of this particular transit, and that is Gemini ascendant. We have Saturn in the ninth house in Satabhashak. Rahu is in the 10th house in Uttarabhadrapada. And at the same time, we have Moon in Aries in Bharani in the 11th house. So, a conclusive theme of this transit is going to be about lifelong lessons. There is going to be a lot of innovations that will come into light because of this placement in the remaining transit of Saturn. So you would see a lot of innovations which are going to happen, and that is going to be for the sake of public, for the sake of people in general. But along with that, along with this technical innovations, this, since we also have to consider that we have Ardra as the rising, so there is going to be transformation. There's going to be starting of a new era, which is all about technology, which is all about innovations, technical innovations and creativity. There is going to be a lot of focus on research, right? And it's like that this process will happen in secrecy. This process will happen, you would see a lot of softwares coming out, or you would see a lot of innovations coming out to help people, to make people's life very comfortable. But this is going to come out suddenly, right? This is going to, because many innovators or people who are very technical in nature, or who develop softwares, who develop these creative things or these technical things, they're going to go into isolation. They're going to research a lot. They're going to spend long hours in taking action towards these technical things, right? So that's what you can see on a mundane level. But if we talk about personal lives, you people are going to experience, rather, we people are going to experience a lot of, trigger, or going towards the direction of achieving something, achieving our desires. But those will be achieved with a lot of hard work. And do you know, I feel this is the only placement which is on the positive end, considering all the other placements which are in this chart or at this time. We don't have the best of the placements of the planets at this moment. And Saturn going direct is the only savior which we can feel that, yes, it is going to save a lot of situations. Although this savior, since why it is savior right now, and that might not have been when Saturn actually came into Aquarius previously, because this is the ultimate transit. This is the last transit for this particular period. Saturn is going to go into the sign of Pisces, and it is not going to come back to Aquarius. So it's like it's final goodbye to this sign. So before leaving the sign, it is going to pay off all the karma it is required to do. It is going to give all the results, good or bad, right? But since it is the Mool Trikon sign of Saturn, it will give positive results. We are also going to hear about a lot of philanthropy, a lot of good work that is going to happen around, right? But this Saturn is a planet who gives you karma basis on what you do. So if you have good karma, if you have strong karma, positive karma, you are going to achieve your desires, you're going to achieve your goals. But if you do not have good karma, and if you deviate from the process, then you might not achieve it. Then it is like that you are pushing, just pushing, just trying to get recognized, but the recognition is not coming. Along with that, this Saturn wants you to be fair. This Saturn wants you to be impartial and, true to yourself. Then only the Saturn is going to give you things, and it is going to fulfill your desires. Another thing this Saturn tells is that you have to be hideous with your activities. Try not to try not to announce what you want to do or what you are doing in your life. Try to do things, take the action first and then announce it when the result is out. Like, suppose if you are trying to change a job, do not announce that I'm going to change the job. Try to be in yourself. There's a saying that whenever you say that this I'm going to do this or this is going to happen, then the nazar comes into the play and the work never gets fulfilled. That is the situation what is going to happen with Saturn being direct in the sign of Aquarius. So as to prevent yourself from that nazar, just be secretive, just be within oneself. Okay, and since this Saturn is in the horizons of Rahu, definitely this placement is about rebel, extreme rebel. Like, suppose a person wants to do something for people, something for the society, they are going to do by rebelling someone else, by rebelling from maybe the society itself. So the actions are going to go into rebel zone, and out of that, the gains, the recognition is going to be there. Okay, so overall, this placement or this transit is good for people's career. Most of the people, for most of the people, this is going to be good in terms of their career and in terms of their, desires. You have desires not just related to career. It can be related to relationships, it can be related to buying a property, it can be XYZ. It's just that this Saturn is going to give that determination and that hard work, smart work, everything to achieve that. Okay, so talking about the sign of Geminis, you are getting that direct Saturn in the ninth house, right? This is one of the life lessons you're going to learn during this time. You may also feel that my luck is just not, you know, coping with me. My luck is not there, my fortune is not there, because this Saturn will tend to delay the process, but it is going to, fulfill its destiny only when you understand how this Saturn should work, right? Only if you prevent yourself from this, announcing of things. You have to be secretive with your travel plans or your educational plans. But this shows that if there has been a lot of delay in your education or in your travel, this might now let you travel or let you go ahead with your higher education. This also shows that you are going to go into a very rebel zone with your gurus, with your mentors, and even your father. You may have a very, practical uh, disopinion. I don't know if that's the word, but lack of similar opinion with your father. And that is going to be a reason for you to rebel. Okay, but this time is very, very learning for you. It's all about learning for you. Okay, and that learning is going to help you with your karma, with your actions, and especially with your career. Okay, now next is going to be the sign of Cancer. So for Cancer individuals, this is happening in the eighth house. There can be some sort of inheritance, fight for inheritance. You might have desired to get either the wealth of the spouse or the inherited wealth, from the spouse's family, or the inheritance in itself. But that might have been very long process, very, very extremely long process. But now you'll be able to achieve it. You will be able to settle it down. Now see, the settlement depends on how your Saturn is placed within your within your chart, and what dashas you're going through. But definitely it will talk about settlement. Why? Because Saturn suppresses the house in which it sits. It suppresses the bad qualities of that house. It suppresses the problems of that house, right? So that's why this is going to make once and for all, this is going to settle the process of inheritance or the process of secret money. And it also tells that you should be secretive about your assets and your money, and secretive money. That's why it is going to become secretive, right? So that is much required. Along with that, the Saturn also shows that you will have to take support from your family in some way or the other. And you are going to experience a major transformation in your life. Either it can be like a physical transformation, as in, like, you might shift to a different place, you might travel to a different place, and you might shift there for some time or maybe permanently. Or it talks about a major shift within your life, within your personality, within your career. This can even give a fight like situation with the in laws, but ultimately you are going to gain through that situation. Okay, and you are going to actually act extremely competitive and clever with that situation, and that particular thing is going to help you a lot, right? Just be a little bit careful with investment in shares. Okay. Now, the next is the sign of Leo. So, for Leo individuals, this Saturn is in the seventh house. This actually is a placement which is not very favorable with the marriage. So, if you are in a relationship, this talks about you having the hardest time to connect with the partner on an emotional level and even on the physical level. You know, Saturn, whenever it comes into the seventh house, it creates the circumstances where you can be lured towards another person out of your relationship or out of your marriage. And if you choose that, you are going to have a blunder in your marriage or in your relationship. You know why the Saturn does it? Saturn actually tests you. Saturn tests you that whether I should give you what you desire or not. And it is solely based on one's karma. So this Saturn is going to test you based on your karma. So Saturn coming into the seventh house for people who are not yet into a relationship or who are not married, you would see that you are going to encounter with a lot of people. You might also be criticized from lots of people, but then there is going to be a very stable relationship that is going to come ahead, and you're going to dive into that relationship. But if you are already married or already in a relationship, it may also bring some distance with the spouse. It could be physical, it could be emotional, and that could cause an affair as well. But it is suggested not to fall for that trap, or Saturn is going to ruin your partnerships. This also talks about that there is going to be an opportunity of business for you, and you're going to learn a lot with about your career. You might explore yourself in terms of business if you're in job sector right now, but definitely this is a learning experience for you. You're going to learn higher knowledge, you're going to learn newer things in life, but along with that, you are going to be very judgmental towards other people, and even other people or people in general are going to be very criticizing and judgmental towards you. Okay, so next is the sign of Virgo. So for Virgos, now your debts are going to go away within the remaining months. Like we have this is November, mid of November. So December, January, February, March. So in 4 months, 4.5 months, you are going to suppress all of your debts. You're going to work on your health. Your health will require the attention, and also you'll be done with all the conflicts. And when I'm saying that you'll be done with the debts, you'll be done with the conflicts, that means that the things are going to surface in your life. So time can feel very difficult to you, but everything which is happening in your life in terms of conflicts, in terms of legal matters, in terms of health issues, that is actually surfacing to get done with once and for all, right? But it will require a lot of hard work from your end. But this Saturn being in Satabashak, it actually heals a lot of situation, but at the same time it will surface hidden enemies for you. This is the time when you would see a lot of enemies who are hidden are going to come out, are going to surface. And because of that, you'll be able to solve all your problems, all your conflicts, right? I don't know why my light is flickering today this much. It has never been, maybe it's not working nicely, or maybe the socket is not working today. Oh, it just went away. Just give me a second. Yeah, I think the socket is not working today. Okay. Yeah. Right. So this Saturn being in the nakshatra of Rahu in the sixth house, it's about sudden events, sudden things that surface. So all of this, suppressing of debts, the suppressing of legal activities, getting done with legal with your enemies, this is going to happen like this suddenly. And this also activates your intuition, and this talks about that you are going to get the support from your subconscious mind, from your intuition, because at the same time you have Ketu in the first house. Okay, so be considerate of that. Consider your intuition, go within and understand yourself. You already have your answers. Okay, and during this process you might feel very absent emotionally. Emotionally you are not going to feel very better, but still this is going to help you once and for all. Maybe this coldness with your emotions is coming there because this Saturn wants you to pass through this process without getting hurt. Okay, so next is the sign of Libra. So for Libra individuals, this particular Saturn is transiting in the fifth house. One thing I would suggest is do not dive into shares and speculation. Do not dive into investments which are short term or very quick in nature. Although you having Mercury in your second house in the sign of Scorpio, you know what can happen, and there is debilitated sun in the ascendant also. Just because you want to be superior in terms of finances to someone else, you might actually get influenced from someone, and then you might put your money into some sort of investments which might not be the best for you. So this Saturn, when it comes into the fifth house, it actually slows down your intelligence. It gives you karma related to your decisions and your intelligence. And on the other hand, for people who are trying to connect creatively or who are trying to do something in, as you know, a part of creative endeavors in their career, for them this time is helpful. This Saturn is going to activate your skills and activate your creative self expression, so you're going to gain, right? Also this time is very fame oriented. The only, you know, troubling or the negative part is towards the finances and towards you, you know, losing your money somehow because of your boastful nature. So try to keep quiet with your decisions of investments, or your decision of putting money somewhere. Okay, otherwise it is a very good time period if you are planning to dive into a career which is associated with creativity, you know, freelancing, or any creative and artistic endeavor that you wanted to do from a very long time. This will make you shift towards that career, and this is going to refine your skills as well. This is going to make you research a lot, either related to investments, shares, or related to the what should I do, how should I start a business, how should I do things in my life. Okay, then we have the sign of Scorpio. So for Scorpio individuals, this Saturn is in the fourth house. Right now, what this tells me that you are feeling very indifferent of your emotions. Your emotions are all up in the air. You are into the massive rebel zone. Your heart is telling you to rebel. Your heart is telling you to go against the society, against what you have, you know, how you have been emotionally. So you will see a very different and intense side of yours. At the same time, we do have Mercury in the ascendant. That's why it says that you are now finally going to get your frustration out by speaking about it. That may also come in tears, but that is going to come out. You are going to feel very, you know, heavy on your heart. See, when Saturn comes into the fourth house, it's like you take a heavy rock and you put it on your heart. You know, you understand that feeling of feeling heavy on the heart, you know, feeling the urge that you want to express but you're not unable to express. That is the situation what this Saturn is going to create. But definitely, either this Saturn will talk about purchasing for a conveyance like a vehicle, or a property, a home, or you might get a property in your name as well. Okay, so but this process of getting a property, getting a stable foundation within oneself, is not easy. Your mind is going to feel very conflicted, and you're going to put your foot down with your emotions and with your communication, right, to get the fulfillment of this particular placement. But this also shows for the people who are technical in nature, who are innovative in nature, this is going to give you a lot of research abilities to get into that research, get into that innovative zone where you will be able to create innovations. That, like for example, you will be able to create softwares. If you are a IT engineer, you'll get an idea, you'll get a, you also sorry, also one very important thing I was not able to tell it previously, but the sign of Aquarius is the most futuristic sign. So this talks about having a futuristic vision. So that's why this particular, you know for this particular time, you are going to have ideas about a vision which is for the future. This also can be intuitive in nature, this can be towards career, this can also be towards one's personal life. Okay, now next one is Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius individuals, this is happening in the third house. Third house Saturn, it tests one's patience and courage. So this means that you will have to put, you will be into situations where your patience is going to get tested, where your courage is going to get tested. And at the same time, this also talks about you to be expressive of yourself, like you are getting out of that introvert behavior, and you're going to go up for communication, expressing oneself. Because we did talk about Saturn being in the sign of Aquarius, it actually makes you go against your introvert nature. It makes you go towards communicating, presenting yourself in front of large population, right? And at the same time, we have Rahu in the fourth house and Moon in the fifth house. That means that your creative self-expression, your skills, your communication skills are going to make you do that, make you uh, mm, uh, put those efforts, put that courage into that particular scenario, right? This also, whenever Saturn comes into the third house, this makes a person work really, really hard. It also suppresses communication and relationship with the younger sibling. So this can make you go at a, distance with your close friends or your younger sibling, and you are going to be very practical with your thought process, because third house in some way also represents what we, I won't say what we believe in, because ninth house is what we believe in, and third house is opposite to it. So it's like a lesser prominent belief that we have, what we believe in on daily to daily life, what we assume about our surroundings. So when Saturn comes here, it gives you a very practical mindset, very, very practical approach, right? And you will be able to receive uh, help or support from gurus or people who are your mentor or your teachers or even your father. But this time is actually about you to refine your skills, learn something creative, and acting upon that particular creation. This time this time will actually give you fruits of your efforts. The more efforts you are putting into your work, into your life, in different aspects of your life, the more results you're going to get. But at the same time, the dissatisfaction can also be there regarding one's efforts. So it will actually act as a negative motivation for you. Okay. So now the next is the sign of Capricorn. So for Capricorn individuals, this particular transit is happening in the second house. Now it is highly activating the second house. It tells me that you will have to provide your family. You will want to do some philanthropy work. You would want to help people, and your communication skills are going to play a very important role here. You have karma associated with what you speak, with what you have to say to people, to public at large. And this is going to help you achieve recognition and fame. So this tells me that your efforts might not be up to the mark, because of which there can be a little bit of dissatisfaction also with the income. But indeed, the second house Saturn activates the income as well, right? So because of this activation, there is going to be good opportunities of increasing one's income, and you will be able to enjoy the fruits of money, and even you'll be able to set aside money as a part of your savings as well. But try this as a remedial measure. Try and provide some amount of money, like suppose whatever amount you can set aside as a part of your salary towards either donation or towards your family provision, especially. That's very, very important. The more you're going to provide your family, the more you're going to get good growth in your finances. But at the same time, you will be able to express in a very practical manner. Try to keep things hidden with your speech. Try to have a little bit of boundaries with what you speak, right? And at the same time, you will be required to take care of your eating patterns. Those are very, very necessary right now. Okay. There can be some sort of fight like situation within your home as well. Okay. It could be related to properties, or it could be related to something within the home. Okay, so this is something that I also see, and your mother's health could also get affected. So try and tell her to take care of that, just because these alignments are strongly indicating some sort of health issues to the mother. Okay, apart from this, let me see what I can tell. Yeah, so pretty much it works for a stable growth towards finances for an individual, but at the same time, you will be able to, spend a little amount of money either for healing, for helping people, or for luxury as well. Okay. So the next one is the sign of Aquarius. For Aquarius individuals, this is happening in the first house. This is a very, very transformative time for you. And not just this, next year also is going to be extremely transformative for you. You are going to now rebel against whatever suppression you have done with your emotions. You will now be like that, I need to see for myself now. I need to think for my personal growth now. And you will work towards that. You will feel lethargic, but at the same time, you will feel focused and determined. So the body might feel lethargic, but the mind is going to be feeling quite motivated and quite focused. For this time, be a little bit careful with your emotions, because this kind of the feeling of dissatisfaction, the feeling of that something is missing, something is not right, and something needs to be done, the motivation for being productive, this can actually take a toll on your mental health. And you might end up assuming a lot of things within your relationships and within other things in your life. So be a little bit careful with that. At the same time, be careful with your savings. Try not to make emotional expenditures, like, expenditures that are based on emotions. Try to be very calculative with the money part. Okay, so other than this particular transit is going to make you get out of your cocoon and work on your self and self-esteem. You will see a very different side of yours. You will see a very confident side of yours. You're going to come out of that introvert nature, and now finally you are going to be a person who's going to present himself or herself in front of large public, and you'll be appreciated for that. You'll be recognized for that. And your technical innovation, your futuristic mind, your futuristic ideas are going to help you a lot. So when I was talking about innovations with this transit, the people who are actual Aquarius moon or Aquarius rising, those are the ones who are going to contribute towards the society with these innovations, because your mind is so much out in the future that you are able to understand things the way not all people do, right? Now, the next one is the sign of Pisces. So, for Pisces individuals, this is happening in the 12th house. This is actually building up a pressure on your subconscious mind of not being appreciated or not being recognized. You right now have a lot of obsession within you, and you want to work and do different things in your life. But right now, with the Saturn going direct, it is going to create a lot of pressure over your mind and over your subconscious mind also. You will feel restless. You will feel as if even if you were sleeping at the night, your mind was working 24/7. And so, because of that, you are going to feel very restless. You're going to develop different sorts of fears as well within your mind. Your subconscious mind is going to go into much of a rebel mode, it's going to be very hard for you to connect with what you are speaking, what you are thinking, and what you are acting upon. So it's like a lot of chaos that I see, but this chaos is actually a part of your transformation, which is going to work towards your personal growth. So you will definitely have a lot of pressure within your mind, but at the same time your mind is going to help you work out with things in a very intuitive and hardworking manner. But I won't say that this is a best time for you people. This is definitely a very troublesome and heavy time for the Pisces moon and Pisces ascendant individuals. And at the same time, you will feel a lot emotionally connected towards your money, towards your family, towards your income as well, right? So try not to be an emotional spender and try to save more. And you know what? This Rahu in the first house, along with Saturn in the 12th, this is actually also going to make you go towards a lot of astrologers. There's a feeling of that you need to find something, you need to find some answers, right? So that is going to be a constant feeling for the next coming months. Now, the next one is the sign of Aries. So, for Aries individuals, this is happening in the 11th house. Now, Saturn being in the 11th house in the sign of Aquarius is a beautiful placement to have. It means that you are going to have very much desires, so many desires, and you're going to be a person who is going to rebel and achieve those desires. You're going to go against the norms of the society and want to achieve that. And at the same time, you would see that you will receive a lot of criticism from your social circle, and you will be a little at distance from your social circle, but at the same time you will be able to gain very nicely and very stably with that social circle. So your social circle in a way is going to help you with that. At the same time, this activates very powerfully your 11th house, and at the same time we have Jupiter, and that is retrograde in the second house. So this is actually a good placement, which will make you be recognized, and you may also have some financial gains, but at the same time you can expect a lot of expenses and even a major loss at the same time. So it's like both the things are going to happen at the same time. Try to be a little, like not a little, but very, very patient with your decisions. Your decisions will matter the most, because they are going to affect your finances and the losses that I'm talking about. So your intelligence is not something which is to work, in your favor for this period. So try not taking very major decisions during these particular 4.5 months. Okay, but I do see recognition through career. I do see good opportunities coming ahead with your career, right? So this is a good time for you to stabilize your career for, for your life, right? These years are very important for that. Whenever Saturn transits the 10th house and the 11th house, these two transits are very important for building up a foundation for one's career. Okay, but also this shows that you are going to be very involved into technical research, and that particular technical research is going to help you with your career and with your recognition. Okay, and this will also test your patience in terms of your desires, fulfillment of your desires. So if you desire to, suppose, get a house, or you desire to get some money, so your patience is going to be tested. Your, how you do it is going to be tested. Okay, so now lastly, we have the sign of Taurus. So for Taurus, this is happening in the 10th house. Be a little careful with your image, with your public image, and also your image in your career, because having Saturn in an air sign in the 10th house, first of all, it is going to make you work really, really hard. You are not going to achieve success if you are working the way you might have been working earlier. you know you have to work hard. You have to get up, go into that manual working zone, and you'll have to work hard. You will use your ideas towards your career, and that can turn out to be beneficial for you. There can be ideas of starting something new, there can be ideas to add on something within your career. Those can help you, but at the same time, be careful of whom you're connecting with. You're going to be criticized, your image is going to get tarnished, harmed. And be careful of authorities as well. They might go on testing you in one way or the other. So try and get aligned with your legalities, your legal matters, legal papers. Be careful with all of them. Okay, at the same time, there's Rahu in the 11th house. See, Rahu in the 11th house actually, explodes the 11th house. It's like you will be encountering with a lot of people, and at the same time, you will be getting attracted to the wrong people as well. That is because of Mercury in the 7th house and Scorpio also. And then we also are receiving the ninth aspect of Rahu. So there can be some shady people you might interact with, although you will be able to gain through that from them, but still your encounters can make, your image go the other way around. right? So be careful with that particular situation. Avoid addictions or substances of addictions. Those are very prominent. And at the same time, I do see a significant loss of money or something which is associated with money, or maybe even a property in some way or the other. Maybe you want to sell a property and then get a money, or maybe you're not getting some loss into something and then you decide to sell it off, something like that. But I do see a lot of expenses right now. It can be also on accumulating something of luxury because Venus is in the eighth house, but at the same time, there's going to be some situation which is being connected with loss or a heavy expenditure. Okay, guys. So this was my analysis about Saturn going progressive and going direct in the sign of Aquarius, and it is going to stay there till 29th of March. Okay. So see you in the next video. Till then, if you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com. And under the reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And under the unique reading section, you can book a unique reading for yourself. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.